Hey, so told you I would post a video about the project. So here it is. If you were in class, you already heard this. So you may not want to listen to it again, but if you want to hear it again, go for it. So if you saw the project that dropped here, it's the test grade project. Notice it says test grade. It's a test grade. So for those of you who have group chats with answers in it, that kind of stuff, may not function well for you for this test grade. This is something you're actually going to have to do. Now, if you were to split it up, and trade stuff, I'm not going to be too picky about that. Feel free to help each other out. I would say this: if you do borrow someone's information that they got for you, I would go ahead and put their name on yours too, because that tells me that you collaborated instead of cheated. So here we go. If I click on this guy, it says this is a major test grade. It's due February 5th. That's next Friday. Some information may be harder to find than others. So I'm not looking for you to find everything on this list. I know some of it might be hard to find, some of it might be difficult to find. What I'm really looking for you to do is to find the adaptations that allow these organisms to survive and reproduce in the life zones in which they live. Single cell, multi-cell, these are the answers that you would see. So, let me back up. So it says look up the organisms listed and how they survive and reproduce. Create a slideshow, PowerPoint, Word document that covers each organism. I'm going to let you decide on that. It's basically a presentation of your information to me. If you want to do it in a slideshow, if that works for you, great. If it's a PowerPoint, go for it. If it's a document, just do it in a document. Cut and paste is okay to some extent, but you're going to want to limit it and put it in your own words as best as possible, because you're going to use what you find to help you try and answer questions that I give you on a quiz. So you're going to look for these adaptations that help them survive, and then I'm going to ask you, hey, why does this thing do so well? What does it have that helps it do this? And you're going to have to answer those questions using what you have there. So it becomes its own test grade, but then it also becomes its own cheat sheet for further quizzes and tests, if that makes sense. So the more information you find, the better, but I'm not looking for everything to necessarily be on there. So the information you're going to find, what is its cellular structure? Is it single or multicellular? You should be able to find that on most of them. A lot of these are going to be single-celled, well, I shouldn't say a lot. About half will be single-cellular, and then about half are multicellular. And what that does is, obviously, if you're single-cellular, you're going to be really, really small, microscopically small. If you're multicellular, now you might be a little bit bigger. But most of these guys, just to give you a heads up, are pretty much microscopic. I mean, you might be able to see some of them with the naked eye, but to pull out features sometimes is a little bit more difficult. So a microscope helps. Anyway, are they planktonic? Most of these are going to be planktonic. I'll just help you out. Planktonic means it can swim against currents. Most of these cannot swim against currents. Most of these just drift about in the oceans and lakes, and whatever current is going on in the lake, that's how they move from one location to another. If not, what are they? And then if they are, which most of them are, I want to know if they are zooplankton or phytoplankton. I'll give you a little hint on that one too. Zoo means animal-like. Phyto means plant-like. So if it behaves kind of like an animal, it can move on its own, it captures prey, those types of things, then it's probably zooplankton. If it is photosynthetic or chemosynthetic, then it's probably phytoplankton. Are they in freshwater, saltwater, or both? Some of these are saltwater only, some are freshwater only, some go both ways, so just let me know what you find if you find something. And then what life zones do they usually inhabit? I'll give you a little hint there. Most of them are going to be in the photic zones, which means in a lake, you're going to be in the littoral or limnetic zone, because that's the zone that has light. And then in the ocean, you're going to be in the epipelagic, and then that could be in the littoral zone, neritic zone, or oceanic zone. Then, what is their role or niche in their ecosystem. So what's their role? A lot of these are going to function as producers. Some of them might function as primary consumers, or consumers. Yeah, primary consumers. So just kind of tell us what their function is. Some of them might do other things that do things for the environment. So just try to find out what their role in the ecosystem would be. Try to explain their full life cycle. How do they how are they birthed, live and get food, and then how they die, right? Or how they reproduce and how they die. And that would be the full life cycle. Do they perform metabolism? In other words, how do they get their food? So how do they get their energy, their nutrition? Do they do photosynthesis? Do they do respiration where they have to eat? Tell me how they do it. What are they made of? So this one is kind of structural. How are they made? Do they have spikes? Do they have something that helps them swim? Do they have something that helps them eat? Do they have something that helps them gather sunlight? What do they have that makes them able to survive in the life zone that they're in? And then interesting facts. I'll kind of be viewing through some of these. I'll tell you about some of these things as we go through the week. But if there's anything interesting that you find about them, throw it in there. Just because it makes you remember things a little bit better if you find something interesting about them. So here are the organisms that you're going to find all of that information about. First, you got dinoflagellates, then diatoms, amoeba, paramecium, euglena, vorticella, radiolaria, foraminifera, cyanobacteria, rotifers, daphnia, and cyclopoids. So some of these are very similar in structure and function. Some of these are very different. So you should be able to find those things. Now notice this rubric, because this is what's important. Do I want this big, elaborate presentation that looks like something I would get if I were, I don't know, about to rent like a timeshare in Hawaii? No. I don't need anything that is like professionally done, looks great. I just need you to get the information on all of these organisms and put it in a document that you can then sift through and find this information. Now, you doing the document shows me that you found the stuff. So this is essentially your notes. This is essentially your cheat sheet. This is essentially your version of how you're going to pass a quiz or a test using the information given to you. So this shows me that you went out and found some information about these critters and that you are ready to take a test over these critters. So notice the rubric is very easy. Did you create a presentation that has all 12 organisms? If you went like this, highlighted that, and you said copy, and then you pasted that into a Word document, bam, you're at 48 points, almost halfway home. Did you include most of the information? I am not going to read every single bit of your information. Now, if I'm reading through it and jackwagon pops out at me, and it, Coach Charlie is a jackwagon, then yeah, I might read yours a little bit. But I'm not looking to see if, oh my gosh, they didn't put number 3 in there. I'm just trying to see if you've gotten most of the information. If I look on there and you have 5 or 6 bullet points about each little organism, I think we're probably good. I'm going to roll on and keep moving, and then you'll get your 40 points. And then lastly, did you include a picture of each organism? That's 12 points. So if you just copied that list and then went and found a picture of each of them, you'd be at a 60 already. Then all you got to do is, jot down a few things about each one, and I'm going to give you, a pretty good grade. So this should be, I designed this to hopefully be an easy 100, give you a nice test grade in there to help you out, and then we're going to take a quiz where you learn, or where you are kind of quizzed on, hey, what are the adaptations that allow this guy to do well in this environment? And then so it's going to help you on other quizzes and tests. And then of course, when you take the quiz, you're going to be able to see, kind of how you did on it, and hopefully fix what you need to fix. And then for the quiz or for the test, you should be better. So I hope this helps explain kind of what I'm looking for on this project. Again, I'm not looking for this glorious thing. I'm just looking for you to have the information about these guys, find pictures of them, give me the information about them, life cycle, and then adaptation specific to their environment would probably be things that would help you the best. That's all I got. Good luck, and if you have questions, holler at me. Oh, I will be sharing videos. I'll go through and do a couple videos of some of these guys along the way. Not going to make like extensive amount of information about them, but I'll kind of hit some high points just so you kind of see them. That's all I got. I will talk to you soon if you have questions.